Back to my take, top of the hour. I say foreign policy of the Obama administration was a flat-out disaster, and the Trump administration has to deal with it now. Joining us, Wisconsin Congressman, Republican, Sean Duffy. Are you going to take issue with me or agree with me, Sean?
Stuart, you were spot on. Listen, Barack Obama's foreign policy was an absolute disaster. We don't live in a safer world after 8 years of Obama. We live in a more dangerous world. And you look at now where Donald Trump sits, and there's not a lot of good options left with North Korea or Iran. And I mean, he can go to sanctions, right? So we can go with finance sanctions, with finance companies. We can go with energy sanctions. We can try to bring in Russia, China, South Korea, Japan in regard to North Korea. But not a lot of good options. And the last option is a military option, which is the worst option. So Trump is a little bit backed in a corner here, trying to clean up the mess of not just Barack Obama, who was a failure, but George Bush didn't keep his eye on this ball, and nor did Bill Clinton. And if we don't get this right, we see how dangerous this is. I mean, you don't contain nuclear weapons or chemical weapons to North Korea or Iran. They share them. They're sharing them with Syria, but who knows? They share them with ISIS or Al Qaeda or some drug czar in South America. They're willing to sell these weapons for cash, especially when they don't have much cash themselves. This leaves us in a dangerous world. You were spot on.
Give me 30 seconds on why we should or should not welcome President Barack Obama as the UN Secretary General.
Well, listen, he's been a disaster as a U.S. president. I think he'll be a disaster as the UN president, but as the UN, or the Secretary General. But as the UN goes, they're a disaster anyway, so he would be par for the course. And my question would be, could he do more damage at the UN than has already been done? Probably not. It'd be nice to have a little different take from the past in the UN, but Barack Obama would offer more of the same, which I think would be sad.
Well, that was 35 seconds, but we'll let you off with that. All right, Sean. Now, I've got another one for you. The president will attend a bipartisan meeting with congressional members on school safety. Another one, I believe. Do you think something concrete gets done?
I do, Stuart. So listen, you have a lot of kids. I have a lot of kids. I have 8 kids. 6 are in school. I want my kids to come home. I don't want to be like a parent in Florida. And so this is a very large conversation, but school safety is a key component. And whether we have metal detectors, whether we have, single points of entry, whether, in certain communities, again, in my community, maybe in Wisconsin, our school board might say, allow teachers to have a firearm. But other communities say maybe not.
Here's what I'm getting
at, But I think the school boards can make those decisions. But at one point, we have $63 billion that Chuck Schumer leveraged for us to build up our military. Let's use some of that $63 billion that we're going to spend in the next month. Let's use that for school safety. Let's give grant money out, especially to poor schools, so they can shore up their school and keep their kids safe.
I guess what I'm trying to say is President Trump is not ideological. He's not on the right. No. He's not on the left. He's a business guy. He's not a politician. He's a business guy, and he wants to get something done. Look, I'm going to express the opinion that if you want to get something done, you go to Trump. You don't go to the right, you don't go to the left, because he will get something done. And you say what?
But, Stuart, here's the question. Do you want to get something done and make people feel good, or do you want to get the right thing done that protects our kids?
I tell you what I think.
want to protect our kids.
That the American people at this point want something done. Right, so, and they'll make the judgment later whether it was right or wrong.
I understand the politics, but what happens when we do something and it's not the right thing and there's more school shootings and more kids die?
True.
I want to do the right thing to protect our kids. And whether that's school safety, that's looking at who can purchase a gun, looking at, what laws we have in place that aren't being implemented, whether we're looking at fatherless homes, we're looking at a lack of morality and faith in our community, we're looking at gun violence coming from Hollywood or our video games, we're looking at overprescribing little boys who are just boys, we're feeding them with medication. There's a whole set of problems that we have, and we should look at all of them if we're going to address this issue. And to think that we can just do one thing, and that's the only thing, it might make us feel good, but I don't think it will resolve the problem. We have to look at it holistically, and I think that's the answer.
Sean Duffy, we hear you, and thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you, Stuart.